Hey guys, it's your girl Candidly Vee here, and I am back with another video. So today I'm going to do a quick review on the Meghan and Harry interview with Oprah that just took place. And I just want to see if you guys felt the exact same way that I did. Let's get into this video. Guys that don't actually know, I am originally a fellow Brit. I don't know if you guys can hear my accent, but this story does play near and true to my heart. So I definitely felt like I needed to speak on this. I have been speaking with my friends back in the UK about it. They still hadn't seen the interview when we were talking about it, but they had seen clips because by then it had already been shown out here in the US. So here are my thoughts. And the reason why I'm going to put a lot more emphasis on her black side just in this video is simply because at the end of the day, she is scrutinized because of being black, okay? That is a big deal, and it plays a big part in this whole interview that came about. So I definitely want to delve into that, and we're going to focus on that fact as well, okay? So I don't want you guys to think, oh, it's always a racial issue. No, this is fact. This is truth. If you watch the documentary and the interview, then you will know that what I'm saying is very much factual. So I always felt that Harry would marry a black woman, and that's exactly what he did. Now, we're in the 21st century, so as far as I'm concerned, I think times are changing. I know that racism is still very much there. And yes, you know, there is a certain way that things have been done in the past, but we're in the 21st century now. There is a lot of multicultural relationships now. This is a different day and age. Why is it that the royals can't have more multicultural family members? The British media now, yes, there was some negatives, and the media wasn't that bad. Actually, a lot of the media was supporting their relationship. It didn't turn until she started being compared and they could see that she was doing amazing work like Diana. Everybody knows that Princess Diana is one of the most famous and favorite royals. Okay, and we all know her situation. So Meghan comes along, and now it's like a modern day Diana situation. However, this time we're entering race into the mix now. So in the interview, you know, Oprah asks the hard questions. We've all been trying to figure out, why would they leave? Like, why did you leave? And to be honest, when I watched the interview, I was heartbroken. It hurt me to the core for several reasons. Because I'm a black woman, it hurts to hear what they had to go through. Because I am a fan, I would say I am a fan of Prince Harry. So my heart breaks for everything he had to go through and is still going through. And also, just like by being British, like this whole situation and the way that everything is coming out, it hurts my heart to feel like this is my country, this is where I'm from, this is how I feel, and they're being so nasty and unaccepting of her. And I don't understand why. I just don't get it, okay? Because there are lots of people in the UK that absolutely love Meghan and absolutely love the fact that she married Prince Harry. So that was kind of crazy. I guess the interview, I should go into more of the situation of what happened in the interview, of what they talked about, the highlights, okay? The highlights is that there was a big deal between Meghan and Kate. And I think that, I don't know, because I'm not living this world, but I do feel that I thought that Kate may have been a bit more welcoming towards Meghan. Now, yes, Meghan and Harry did say that Kate was welcoming, you know, the family was welcoming of Meghan, but I felt that since Kate had also come from a family situation which was very much different from a royal situation, and she had had a lot of scrutiny by the media, that she probably would have been a shoulder for Meghan to lean on in the time of need. And that wasn't necessarily the case from the sounds of things of what was happening in this interview last night. They said that another reason why they left was also because a lack of support. And I can understand that from what they were saying. Now, yes, there are two sides to every story. However, I do believe a lot of what they said, because I also believe that a lot of the times when you are in the media limelight, they only want to show you what they want to show you and put it in front of your face. Nobody wants to talk about the ugly, okay? And the reason why I also believe this is because a lot of the times, especially when you see all of the documentaries now about Princess Diana, and they show pictures and situations of her back in the day when she was living and very much in the royal lifestyle, you see a lot of pain in her eyes when you see pictures of her. And she had gone through a lot of these things that Meghan was also dealing with. So they left because of the media. The media was absolutely nasty, but they also left because they weren't supported. They were told by the firm, and I want to make this extremely clear as well for those that don't understand. The firm is another name for the royal family, but don't forget you have the royal, and this is made very clear in the interview as well if you watch it. You have the royal family themselves, the individuals that are family on this side, and then you have the institution on the other side, which is the business side of the royal family. And the business side coexists with the royal family. However, the business side kind of runs the royal family. Okay, so that's pretty much what the situation is. So when there are certain protocols, and these are kind of things that I knew to an extent, but I didn't know I didn't know the severity of what it meant. And I don't think anybody would unless they actually lived that situation. So listening to their interview, I can see that Meghan was naive to what she was stepping into. As far as she was concerned, she just felt that she's already been a celebrity. She's been in the media world. How different can being in the royal family be to being a superstar? Okay. And apparently, according to the interview, it's extremely different. When you think you're meeting the grandma of your partner, your soon-to-be husband, who is the queen, he even acknowledges her as the queen and not grandma. You know what I'm saying? So there are different situations that people don't really understand necessarily with how it works. But anyway, so the firm also I'm going to be, when I say the firm, I'm also talking, I think I'm mainly speaking about the institution when I say the firm. So just remember that. So the firm was not being supportive with Meghan like they had been with other royal family members. They hadn't been supportive with Meghan with the media. And there is a silent contract between the media and between the royal family. And Meghan was allowed to be put out there basically to burn and roast. And I think it's because she is black. Honestly. I mean, let's just call a spade here. It's not for any other reason apart from the fact that she is black. And also because Meghan is from overseas. So these are the big main factors, right? So she didn't feel supported like the way the firm supports every other royal member of the family. She was treated differently by being told that she wouldn't have security. She wasn't a working member of the family. And so she doesn't get security. She doesn't get paid. She doesn't get a lot of the things that other family members get. Okay, fine. She also realized soon later on, that when she was by herself and she had nothing else to do really, she couldn't necessarily just call her friends and ask for her friends to come over. She had to ask permission for everything that she did. So the institution, in a way, by the way it sounds, is like prison. Just like this pandemic. And that's what they said. They were like, I think the best way that people will understand what type of life you live as a royal is like the pandemic. You're told when you can do things. The pandemic, we've all been told to be home majority of the time. Yes, we've had a bit more freedom and people have still gone out, but for the most part, we've been mandated to wear masks. All these kinds of things, right? But she was put in that same situation. So she is at home a lot of the time. Harry is working. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. And she's left to be by herself, and she felt very lonely. So I can understand where she was coming from with that. So another reason that she left is she didn't feel supported. She didn't get the same treatment as any other royal. Everything gets taken away from you. Her passport, her keys, her phone, everything got taken away from her. She had to write and ask for permission for certain things. So it's a very different lifestyle than what I think a lot of people thought that they lived. Okay. And yes, as soon as you go outside, you have to smile. You have to be on. Even if you've just been crying all day, you need to smile and be perfect because the media is watching you. You're told, your family and your friends who aren't even in this world are also told how they are to respond to any type of approach from media or anybody, what they are to say. And it's very, very strategic. And I get it. They are trying to protect the royal family and how the royal family is to be perceived. It's very much protected. Now, another part that I took issue with was the fact that everybody knew that Meghan was black. That was never a secret. It was never something that took anyone by surprise. They knew she was black, okay, from day one. So obviously, Harry as a married man and Meghan as a married woman are what? They are going to procreate. They are going to expand their family at some point. Harry had a conversation with family members that we do not know. He never confirmed which family members he had the conversation with. It was later confirmed today that it was not his grandmother, i.e. the Queen, and it wasn't his grandmother or his grandfather. They had this conversation with him, but the conversation basically was, how dark is your child gonna come out? Like, what is that gonna look like? Sorry. Who cares? Okay, who cares how dark the child is gonna come out? And how awful is that of a question to ask? Meghan did not get asked the question directly. It came to Harry. Harry had this conversation and he had it with family members. That has been confirmed. I can assume who he had these conversations with because later on in the interview, all you got to do is put two and two together, okay? But I cannot say that it was definite. But I have a feeling, because he does speak on his relationships with other family members, and you can see that some things are a bit tough. So you can see that, as far as I'm concerned, I think it was safe to assume, and assumptions are a crazy thing. Sometimes we shouldn't, and I will take it back if I am completely wrong, but I assumed that the conversation was with his father, due to how their relationship is now. His father also stripped him of everything, and they were pretty much forced out. I don't know if anyone else believes or doesn't believe that it was very unfair that Harry and Meghan's son, Archie, who we know now as Archie, before he was born, they have a lot of conversations and plans, and there's certain things, certain names, all different types of procedure that goes on when a royal is being born into the royal family. They had said from day one that Archie was never going to get a title. He wasn't going to have security. Basically, you're just leaving my child out to dry. I don't know how Harry felt, But personally, I was extremely hurt for him in that situation. He didn't choose this life either. He was born into it. And this is all he has ever known. And for the institution to make it so difficult and so hard for him to want to stay, as he said, there was no other options. Now, I think I'm going to do a live on this because I can go more in depth because, videos, you don't want them to be too long. And it's a lot that happened in this interview and a lot that was discussed. So I just want this video to kind of be basically my opinions and thoughts on the main points of the interview. That was one thing about the child's color and the fact that this child was going to be treated completely different from any other child that was born into the royal family. They wanted to stay a part of the royal family as non-working royals. Now, as a non-working royal, you still get an allowance. You still get to get called upon when you're needed to work. And they could have still been doing some of their charity work that they were doing. And they still get to live on royal property, on the royal estate. This is what they originally wanted. Eventually, as things were progressing and the media was getting nastier and nastier, the death threats were coming, everything was going a little bit more crazy. Meghan revealed that she was having suicidal thoughts and she wanted to kill herself. Once all of this had happened and they had stepped back and they did become a part of non-working royals, eventually they decided, oh, well, maybe we could go to the Commonwealth. This will be perfect, right? Because we know how it looks to be perceived a certain way. And Meghan says that, she knows that people like her want to see her perceived a certain way. And it's amazing when you can see somebody that looks like you in these positions that you never believed that you could become or get into. So it was very important for Meghan. And that is why they also decided, okay, well, let's move to one of the Commonwealth countries so that it's still a part of the union, but we're getting away from the media. We don't need that stress. She had Archie at the time. And they were just like, let's get away, okay? We're still going to work. We're still going to be a part of the family. It's just like, let's go to another country where we can just kind of chill out a little bit and get away from the negativity that was happening in London, which I can understand. I can understand why. And Harry felt that that was the best decision for his family at the time. So they moved to Canada first, I believe. They said shortly after moving to Canada, they got stripped of absolutely everything and he got called and he got told, we're taking away your security. So Harry, as a royal, is like, what do you mean by you're taking away my security? I'm still royal. I'm still by blood royal. And I just don't think that's okay for the institution to tell the royal about himself. That's crazy. It's crazy to me. I don't know how anyone else felt about it, but I thought that was crazy. So he's like, okay, so we're vulnerable now. We're in Canada. Everybody knows where we're staying. Everybody knows where we are. The media has been following us. And now you're telling me you're removing my security. My security. So this is what happened. So then they're like, okay, well, we got to go. I find it amazing that they moved to LA, I believe, California. And Tyler Perry, which is a black man, for those of you that don't know who Tyler Perry is, he is a black producer in the US. He opened up his home and let them stay in his home and gave them his own security. At this point, the royals have washed their hands of you. He has been shunned from his family. He's completely cut off. He has no money, nothing. Apart from the fact that he did have some money from Princess Diana, which they used to get themselves back on their feet. Thank God that Princess Di had actually, saved money for him. And he says he believes that his mum knew that this was going to happen. And I'm going to go into that, but I'm going to go into that at another time because that is a very deep conversation that needs to be had. Whew, sorry, y'all. It's a lot. And my heart goes out to Meghan when she was talking about when she had suicidal thoughts and she was begging for help. And nobody in the institution would help her. They just told her, that this is how it is. We understand, everyone's gone through it and it's okay, but there's nothing we can do and we cannot help you. I don't feel that that was necessary. I don't feel that that was true. I feel that you can help her. You could help her. You chose not to help her. I think if this was Kate in the same situation, then you probably would have helped her. That you're the royal family, for heaven's sakes. There's certain things that can go underlying that, you know, people don't know about, that ways that you can sneak people in that nobody knows. You could have snuck a doctor in to speak with her once a week or twice a week or whenever. And nobody would have known any different or known who this person was or known who they were coming to see. There are so many workers, so many people that work in the palace, on the palace grounds. It amazes me at how unhelpful they were in that situation. And even Harry had reached out and had begged, and he didn't see any other option but for them to move as well. So my heart goes out to Harry. My heart goes out to Meghan. There's a lot of loss, and I wish that the media would just take a moment to give them a break and support them. England is in an uproar right now. You have so many people that are fighting for them and just being like, wow, this is the truth. And then you have so many people that are just straight up ignorant and just wanting to believe that Harry and Meghan just want to destroy the royal family. And that's not the case. If you listen to the interview and you watch the whole interview, you can see the pain in Harry's eyes. You can see that he doesn't like the relationship that he has right now with his family. And you can see, and he says it, and Meghan says it, they are still extremely very close to the Queen. They've always had a great relationship and they are still very much very close to the Queen. There's a lot of loss. Harry has lost a lot. And it takes a lot to have the courage to do what you had to do. And I completely support Harry in his decision of what he had to do. He had to make the best decision for him and his wife. He didn't want his wife to die. And she was on the edge of taking her life because she wasn't happy. And she couldn't see herself living like this. I think a lot of people give her a lot of hard times, but you know what? She did really well for what she was handed and what she was given. And I think that they could have still been a part of the royal family. I think that there's a lot of miscommunication, not necessarily miscommunication, but I feel that the people that have a lot of the say shouldn't necessarily have all of the say, and maybe it should have been more of a family matter that was taken up. We're in the 21st century. We're not back in the day. And yes, I get that this is the royal family, but that is your own flesh and blood. And Archie, the baby, is your own flesh and blood. And you wasn't even willing to protect that baby for whatever reasons the institution wants to use. I think it's disgraceful. I think it's I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed at all. If you're not a part of the Candidly Vee family, then don't forget to hit those thumbs up on your way in. Hit that red button and subscribe to your girl's channel and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what you thought about it. If you've watched the interview, if you haven't watched the interview, are you going to watch the interview? But more importantly, I want you to be a part of the Candidly Vee family because we love having all these types of topics and discussions. I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. Have a great one. See you soon. Bye.